Sports presentation. It's time to take one moment by the hand and rock right on into the promised land. It's baseball on Fox. Today, the Bo Sox want to dye the White Sox red and hang them out to dry on that green monster. The Big Hurt looks to inflict some painful reminders that Chicago has a hungry heart for the wild card race. But all these doubting Thomases have Frank furious. And talk about pride, Mr. Phillips has plenty. Together with Robin, the Sox are ready to soar. But Boston believes in a notion that they're moving into playoff motion. And when talking postseason, you gotta have a Reggie to make it happen. And Greenwell, he's got it going. It's NL's best team battling in the Big Apple as the Brave Boys look to bash and mash the Mets. The defending champs haven't lost a step as the Chop Boys are sitting pretty on the NL's best record. And germane to their cause is die. Ain't no lie, baby. But when there's a champ, there's also a challenger. And these Utes from New York are dangerous. And they're guilty with no explanation necessary. All right, just remember, it's September where pennant races are won. And this year, baseball's moment of truth is right here on Fox.
Well, friends, we promised this season on Fox would be filled with excitement and with several division races still up for grabs and both wild card races still anybody's guess. It doesn't get any better than this, and it's all right here on Fox. Hello again, everybody. I'm Chip Carey, and along with future Hall of Famer Dave Winfield, we welcome you to the Fox Network MCI pregame show. Now, you might be asking right now, hey, where's Steve Lyons? And isn't that Buck Showalter sitting next to Chip? Well, Steve Lyons is on assignment this weekend, and Buck Showalter in the studio. Glad to have you pinch hitting here for Steve Lyons. Anything is an improvement, Buck.
Well, thank you, Chip.
But I got to tell you, it's hard to believe. 18 months from now, you're back in the saddle with the Diamondbacks. How are things going down in Phoenix?
Real good. We're awful busy. We're trying to use our time wisely, knowing that we're going to be accountable down the road, but it's a lot of fun. We've got good ownership, good front office people in place, and about the only thing that can mess it up is a bad manager now.
Well, I noticed on the uniforms you got the pinstripes, and speaking of pinstripes, you missing the situation in New York, that hot seat right now with the boss breathing down everybody's back and the Yankees stumbling in that division?
Well, there's a certain intensity there that you miss, but I'm going to refer all Yankee questions to David.
Oh, thanks a lot.
Because
only thing we got in common is we're survivors.
Yeah, I was there when we traded David. You know, I was sitting around, we were talking about it, and I remember my daughter telling me on the way home that she wanted to know why we had traded Dave Windshield.
I told you, that's the kind of respect I used to get there. I'll tell you, let me ask you this, Buck. I mean, last year you guys were in the divisional playoffs, and you're sitting home this year. I mean, you still feel pretty good right now?
Yeah, it's a challenge in a different way. I can't wait to get back on the field, but there's not a day goes by when you don't have a little urge to get out there and compete in an athletic situation. But we're having a lot of fun with it, especially with the minor leagues.
Well, let me ask you this. A manager, from a manager's standpoint, what do you guys do this time of year to get that little extra push from the guys?
Well, I think you're being a little contradictive as a manager if you start doing things completely different in September, and players read that. You know, if you've got to start making a lot of wholesale changes and all of a sudden challenging your players in a way that you haven't done all year long, you're going to look pretty inconsistent. You know, Bobby Cox is going through that some in Atlanta, and I'm sure everybody's trying to figure out a way to get through it. But there's nothing like being in the playoff picture and this late in the season to get your stomach moving.
And, Buck, it's great to have you here. We look forward to hearing from you more as we continue with the show. And you mentioned that American League East. What a wild race it is. And after beating the White Sox last night, the Boston Red Sox are even still fighting for an American League wild card spot, although Boston really needs to get it going. They square off today, and that's where we'll begin our Fox Watch. Tom Brenneman's at Fenway Park with our #1 man, Steve Lyons. And, Syke, I tell you, we don't miss you all that much, but I got to tell you, remember a guy by the name of Wally Pipp? You better hurry back to the Hollywood studio, partner.
Well, I'll be back in good time, but I'll tell you what, it's great to get out here and work in the field with a couple professionals.
Oh, that's the way it's going to be.
And you know what, more importantly, Chip, we were talking about this, and I brought it up with Steve. It's nice to see that Buck Showalter is now doing some work to earn that paycheck for a change.
Wow.
Whoa.
They're all over you.
Hey.
Well, it's good for him. Anyway,
we got the knives out today, don't we?
I didn't think Chip would be speechless, but we got it.
Absolutely. We have a good ball game here today. You know, the White Sox are a game and a half back, Boston 5 back. Can Chicago win this thing? Can they catch Baltimore?
Well, they're really going to have to rely on their veteran players like they have all year. Davey Martinez has come out big. Danny Tartable's having a great month of the past here. They got to keep that going. Frank Thomas is even coming on. But they are nicked up. Ozzie Guillen is hurting. Ron Karkovice is hurting. And Baltimore is playing tremendous baseball right now.
Should be a great run. Boston still clinging to hopes despite being 5 games back. Well, right now, let's send it to New York, where Jeff Torborg and John Rooney are standing by for the Braves and Mets.
Thank you very much, Tom and Steve. Today we have sunshine in New York for the Mets and the Atlanta Braves. Had a rain delay here last night, and the Mets won 6-4. We checked the National League Eastern Division standings, where a 12.5 game lead for the Braves is down to 5.5 over the Montreal Expos. And, Jeff, even the good teams can have trouble putting their whole game together, their pitching, hitting, and defense.
Well, it happens sometimes during the year. It's just that you don't think a club with outstanding starting pitching like the Braves will ever go into an extended losing streak.
Right now, the Montreal Expos are 5.5 games out, and they play the Braves 8 times, 5 at Fulton County Stadium.
And that 5 in Atlanta is so important because the Braves have lost 9 in a row on the road, and that is really affecting. On the other side of town here, the Yankees have lost a big lead, and so it happens throughout baseball.
You're right. The Yankees have gone from a 12-game lead down to 3.5 over the Baltimore Orioles. Have a good pitching matchup. It's Mark Clark today against Steve Avery coming off the DL. We have the Braves and the Mets in New York. Let's go to Hollywood now and Chip Carey. All right, guys, thanks a lot. Bobby Cox held a team meeting with his ball club after Thursday night's loss in Colorado. This Braves team's reeling. They've lost 9 games in a row on the road and find themselves in a race with the Expos now, Dave.
What's happened here, the pitching has been vulnerable. They've given up over 6 runs per game. And the trades that they've made, the acquisition of Nagel and Terry Pendleton at third, it really hasn't caused this team to gel. Maybe they're finding that getting to the top has been a little easier than staying there.
Yeah, Dave, there's nothing more tough than to stay to win when you're supposed to win. And I have a lot of respect for people that can repeat, and that's why I have respect for Bobby Cox, and everybody does through baseball. But I think they're going to it's tough to make that many changes late in the season and have it gel properly, but I think it's going to happen with them, and I also feel like that they're going to be stronger as a result of it. Atlanta's still a team to beat.
Yeah, Denny Nagel has not been the pitcher the Braves had hoped for, and today, and a very important start for Steve Avery, who's missed all that time with the side injury. What do you expect out of a guy like that coming off the list and with the postseason looming ahead now?
Well, I think it's an important time for Steve. He has to prove that he can pitch. Like Dennis Martinez just found out recently he couldn't pitch. So that affects the team mentally going down the stretch looking at postseason.
So big day for the Atlanta Braves ahead in New York, and a big day perhaps for Minnesota's Paul Molitor as he closes down on 3,000 hits. He had a couple of knocks last night, came into today's play needing 4 hits to become the 21st player in baseball history to reach the 3,000 mark. Molitor's had 1 at-bat today already against Bob Walcott. Line drive into center field for a base hit. He's 3 shy of the 3,000 hit mark. And, of course, we will keep you updated on all of Molitor's at-bats as he tries again to close down on that lofty 3,000 hit mark. A lot of Major League action last night, and a scary moment for the Cardinals at Dodger Stadium. Line drive off Todd Hollandsworth's bat. Rockets Todd Stottlemyre. They thought he had broken his leg, but preliminary x-rays were negative. Stottlemyre was taken out of the game in the 6th inning. Scoreless ball game until the 9th. Danny Schaefer lays down a sacrifice bunt. Miguel Mejia pinch running, comes all the way around. The throw goes to first. Watch the relay. Bang, bang play. They call Mejia safe at the plate. The Cardinals take a 1-0 lead. The Dodgers go nuts. A look at the replay shows Gary Darling made the right call. Piazza, yes, he collided with Mejia, but no tag was made. Cardinals led 1-0 and win the game 2-0 over Los Angeles. That's the bad news. The good news for the Dodgers, they don't lose any ground because the Reds were in San Diego and they have owned the Padres all year long. Hal Morris at the plate, 2nd inning, no score. He says Capaya. 15 home runs on the year and extends his hitting streak to 15 games. That put the Reds up 1-0. Same score in the 4th. It's Morris time again. Little dribbler down the 3rd base line. Nice piece of hitting there. Morris 3 for 4 on the day as Eric Davis scores. 2 RBI, 2-run score. The Reds have beaten the Padres 7 straight times. 3-1 the score last night. Houston at Colorado. More big wild card action. Ellis Burks. What a year he's having, folks. This guy deserves MVP consideration. 38 home runs on the year now. That cuts a 3-1 deficit to 3-2. Next man up, Dante Bichette. He goes yard. 30 home runs for Bichette. Colorado, the first team ever to have 4 players with 30 or more homers in 2 years. Rockies win at 6-3. The Astros have stumbled. They have lost for the 8th time in their last 11 games. All right, we've just gotten out of the box here, but there's a lot more to come. And here's a look at what else is on deck for today's show.
Hi, I'm Cal Ripken. Coming up on Fox.
In a word, he's darn good. Frank Thomas is the heart and soul of the Chicago White Sox, and this future Hall of Famer is trying to carry his team to the playoffs. We'll take a look at what Mr. Thomas faces and get his view of the AL divisional and wild card races. Coming at you. It's all on deck. Fox Saturday Baseball is brought to you by Network MCI, modern communications technology working for your business, and by 7-Eleven. Oh, thank heaven for 7-Eleven.
Welcome back to the show. The White Sox thought they solved their relief problems. That is, if you listen to what Frank Thomas said on Fox Saturday Baseball earlier this year.
We made a few adjustments last year at the end of the year with a couple new guys in the bullpen with Bill Seamus and Matt Karchner. Those guys have really helped us out a lot, and it gave the guys confidence again.
Oh, Frank, what's happened to that bullpen? They've certainly felt the pressure since the All-Star break, as only Roberto Hernandez has a winning record, while Matt Karchner and his 11-plus earned run average are on the disabled list. All right, when we come back, we'll hook up again with Frank Thomas. The Big Hurt's putting up his usual big numbers, but is that enough to get the Sox into the playoffs?
Fox NFL Sunday. We've already got the toughest team in the business. Now we're getting even tougher. Howie Long reveals the nominees for his Tough Guys team. Then the Lions take on the Eagles, or rivals clash as the Redskins battle the Giants. Fox NFL Sunday. Coverage begins noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific.
All right, friends, don't go anywhere, because when we come back, it's time to take you out to the ball game. The game of the week is coming up next, right here on Fox Saturday Baseball.
Fox, the exclusive home of the 1996 World Series.